Welcome, welcome to another episode of Uncomplicating Business. I am Sarah. I'm happy to be with you today and be in your ears. I am a business coach if you don't know me, and we're going to keep talking about trust. This is episode 19 in this season of trust. And what we're going to do for the next couple of weeks is a couple of shorter episodes about practicing trust. And we're going to root them in the uncomplicated business framework that I teach all the time, that I teach in group coaching, that I teach in my community, which is called the Uncomplicated Business Lab, and I teach in Selling for Weirdos. It's all the places. In the uncomplicated business framework, there are four parts. You are grounded, you are planning, you are connected, and you are selling. And all of those parts work together to create a successful, simple, functionally successful, like that works for your world and your life business. That are always the goal for me, for you. I want your business to actually work in your life and actually work at the same time. Like it shouldn't cost either way. So this week, we're going to talk about tips for getting grounded because this is the step in uncomplicating success that everybody wants to skip because it doesn't often feel like doing when we're getting grounded because it feels like it's an internal process and sometimes it doesn't even look like anything. So it is often the part where people come to me and they're like, well, but this is not working and this is not working and this is not working. And it's like, well, because none of it's going to work if you're not grounded. So this is tips for getting grounded in ways that both support and build trust. And and I want to say that these two things relate together because when you are grounded in your value and your knowledge and your expertise, trusting your voice and your decisions and your path, and that your next step is the right step, that you're making the decisions that make the most sense, that you're choosing the right thing from your to-do list is far less complicated. When you are grounded and you're like, yep, I've got this, it is way easier to trust and it's way easier to keep things simple. It's like being able to actually hear yourself, right? Trust and groundedness together are what allow us to like hear our own inner wisdom and follow our inner knowing. And those things all really matter if you're building a business, especially if you're in service to people, oftentimes in service to people in a way that you've had to struggle, right? Like I've had to build through the process of building businesses. I know lots of people that work with people and money that have had their own struggles with money. So all of those things really matter. So on to the four tips. Ready? The first of the four is choosing your weapons of groundedness. And I say weapons like with air quotes. You have to have your ways of getting grounded, and you need to know what they are. For me, they are a combination of journaling and meditation and walking. And over the years, I have found that if I'm doing one of those things, it's not quite enough. Two of them isn't quite enough, but the three of them together are kind of the magic combination for me. But like everybody's got a different magic combination. Maybe for you, it's journaling and yoga. Maybe for you, it's yoga and having quiet. Maybe I have a dear friend, it's being out in nature and tapping. I have lots of people that do this lots of different ways. And I think for you, it's like, what are the things that give you the space to acknowledge your expertise, to sit in it and sort of marinate in that fun way, and really reconnect to yourself and what you're good at? Because if business is good at anything, it is good at taking us off our center and sort of pulling us this way and that way. So we all need tools to come back to center, and that is key. So know your weapons. And if you're not sure which ones are for you yet, try some. There's a million choices. I find that when I journal, I have to have questions to help me. Some people can just write. I need prep. I need format because otherwise I like stare at the page and I don't know where to start. So I need something to help me get started. Everybody does that differently, but you have to know your resources and the ones that work for you. That's number one. Number two, I wrote this one down as a tip and I was like, oh boy. But I would say one of the important things about grounding, one of the most important things, is to know it never totally works. No one is 100% grounded 100% of the time. We are all always a percent or 10 or 20 or 50 less than 100% grounded. None of us gets to 100%. You're always going to have days where you're like, holy crap, how do I do this? And you're going to have days where you're like, I can do this. And sometimes those are the same day, and it was 1 minute ago that you didn't know, and 1 minute ago that you did know. Like it's going to change moment to moment, day to day, hour to hour, week to week, month to month. So remembering that, like, that's normal and 100% isn't the goal. The goal here is more grounded than not is really vital. Number three, find your evidence. Just like you are finding your weapons to know how you are grounding yourself, if you really want to build self-trust, finding the evidence that you've done things well is irreplaceable. I know that this is like advice people give you. It's like find the good, get your gratitude, all this stuff. But I am specifically talking about evidence that you did something well, anything. Like sometimes I will write down in my journal that everybody ate yesterday, right? Like no one starved. Everybody had dinner. I sometimes the evidence is like real basic, but it's evidence that it's working and that you're doing the things you need to be doing. And sometimes the evidence is spectacular. Like a couple weeks ago, I had a week in my business where I had clients write more than $1 million worth of proposals for work out into the world. It was bananas. Like big proposals going out, big proposals they'd been asked to write in every case. It was a big deal. And that was a big piece of evidence that, I am doing the things I need to do to help my people. But at the same time, not every piece of evidence is that big. So find the proof that things are working, that you're good at what you do, because most of the time, what we do is ignore that in favor of what's not working. And I will tell you, even my most practiced clients, even myself, it'll be like somebody will say, oh, and this isn't working, and this isn't working, and this isn't working. But it'll be like, oh, but in order for that not to be working, you had to do that thing really well. And they'll be like, well, yeah, but nothing. Use the evidence, don't ignore it. Because when we ignore it in favor of all the things we aren't perfect at, what we do is we unground ourselves. We are then the culprit of the ungrounding, and that's crappy. It's not nice. The last tip for practicing trust by being grounded is to remember. And, remember what is the question? Either find someone to help you or get practiced at this. But remember a bunch of things. Remember who you are and what you're good at. Remember how far you've come, right? I sometimes go back in my journals from 2, 3, or 5 years ago and look at the things I was worried about, and I'm like, oh, those aren't even things I think about anymore as a business owner. It's amazing to make that transition, but we don't pay any attention to it because we are very busy in our day to day. So every now and then it is really handy to be like, where was I and what was I doing 3 years ago? Because it's not what you're doing today. You have come so much further than that as a human, as a business owner. Remember that you've helped people. Sometimes I just write down the first names of like 10 different people that I've worked with and write down one way I've helped them. It's like, remember that we did that, right? Not only is that remembering, but it's also evidence. So it counts in two buckets. It is vital that you remember who you are, that you be re-plugged in to your power and your authority and your expertise. And you use your weapons of groundedness to get there. But while you are using your weapons of groundedness, part of your job is reconnecting and remembering what you actually do, why you're here, how far you've come, all of those pieces. So, if you are really in need of grounding, these are some ways to practice. All of this groundedness leads you to trust, and that is really important. If this is something you'd like to practice more, I have a new community. It is called the Uncomplicating Business Lab, and it is a place where we are going to practice putting into place on a day-to-day basis the things in the uncomplicated business framework. So if your business is feeling mysterious, if it works sometimes and you can't tell why it works sometimes and why it doesn't others, if your business is feeling like, you don't know exactly what to do, you're pretty sure you know what to do, but for some reason you don't follow through on doing the things and you're hiding more than you're sharing, it's for you. If you really lean into the service part of the business versus the business part of the business and you're not making as much money as you should be because you're so busy helping other people, you forgot who you were and how valuable you are, it's for you. And if you know you have the skills to do this successful business thing, but like, man, it's clunky and cumbersome and complicated, and really you just need it to be simpler and more effective, the lab is for you. So I will make sure the link is in the show notes. It is an amazing place. If you join the Uncomplicated Business, Uncomplicating, I'm going to mess that up 1,000 times, Business Lab before November 21st, it is also going to come with Selling for Weirdos for free if you join at the quarterly or yearly membership level, which is a really good deal. So it will help you get the accountability and the structure and the resources you need to actually build functional business success that works for you in your life, and specifically will help you to build your sales skills in selling for weirdos. You'll get to do both all at the same time. This is a really good deal, and you should come join us. If you've been in my world a while and you're not in any of my things, you haven't worked with me, but you've wanted to, this is a really great way to do it because this is a membership and by nature lower cost and really accessible. And I would love to see you in there. If you have questions, you can ask them. Come join us in the lab because it's an amazing place and it is going to replace my free Facebook community, the Uncomplicating Business for Teachers, Helpers, and Givers group, which will be archived at the end of this calendar year, which is a big change. So if you're in that group and you want to stick together, come into the lab. All right, my friends, I will see you in 2 weeks, and we are going to talk about tips for connecting when we get to that point. I'll see you soon.